welcome class back to quarter two. We're on our first day and we're going to be covering trigonometry. This quarter will be all on trig. So crucial concepts from trigonometry. It's really what trig builds off of is the ideas of triangles and the relationships between those in astronomy, those in navigation, and surveying. They're crucial for calculus. They kind of develop our ideas and they give us functions that will be useful. So I'm not going to go through all these definitions, angles, initial side. Initial side will be the side you start with. So usually if you were looking at a drawing, you start with a ray, so our initial side, and then our angle is drawn from a rotation to our terminal side. Okay, so initial side usually is on our x-axis. Sorry, this is going to look bad. Usually, our initial side is the horizontal axis in the right quadrant. Okay. Okay, vertex is the corner, terminal side, standard position. So standard position is important. So you need to know that we're going to be using rectangular coordinates, at least for right now. And our standard position is our initial side is on the horizontal, on the x-axis basically, and our terminal side is a rotation counterclockwise to our terminal side. Okay, this is going to be our standard position. Okay, positive angles are going to be when you rotate counterclockwise. So this is going to be a positive. Okay, and negative angles are rotating counterclockwise. Okay, this would be a negative angle. Clockwise, sorry. So clockwise, negative angle, counterclockwise, positive. Okay, they use alpha and beta. There's going to be some key things, that terminal angles. So a terminal angle, let's say I have an angle, right? Okay. Okay, so this is our angle right here. Let's say this is theta. If we rotate it around clockwise to get to the same thing, let's say this is beta. This beta is coterminal with theta. What does that mean? That means that they share the same initial and the same terminal side. Basically, for all purpose sake, for all our trig functions, they are equivalent. Okay? Additionally, so this is this way. What if you rotated around and got back to the same point? This is alpha. Alpha and beta and theta are coterminal. They share the same terminal side. So they share the same terminal side. Okay? Okay, so that's coterminal. Okay? That's positive, negative, and coterminal angles. Now, we're going to talk about the measure of an angle, and this is basically the amount of rotation. So the key terms that we're going to be dealing with, we have a lot. Basically, our angles, we should know what angles are, okay? So a measure of an angle, in this case, is going to be, let's zoom in Clear? Okay. So the measure of an angle, is the amount of rotation from the initial to the terminal. Okay? Radians. Radians are crucial, so we'll start with radians. Okay, so radians are seen as you're measuring it with a formula. Now, what's the formula? The formula is theta equals S divided by R, okay? Now, what's S and what's R? S is arc length. And what's R? R is radius. So, what's that mean? That means it's a relationship between arc length and radius. Now, to get 1 radian means that our S equals R. Okay, right? Because theta equals S divided by R. So if theta equals 1, so 1 equals, so R equals S, okay? So basically, 1 radian is when our arc length is equal to our radius, okay? So, how many radians are there in a circle? So if we were to rotate radius, there are, okay, well, what's our formula for circumference? Circumference, or C, equals 2 pi r, right? So if we're rotating radius, we could think this circumference as S as 2 pi r. So how many radius we're going to have is 2 pi. 2 pi is going to be approximately 6.28. Approximately. It's a little off, but it's close. Okay, so how many radians do we have in a circle? Well, we have 2 pi radians in a circle. 2 pi radians, approximately 6 radians in a circle. Okay? So, how much degrees is 1 radian? Well, how many degrees are there in a circle? So there are 360 degrees in a circle. So 360 equals, let's just do 6.24 r. Okay, check, okay? Divide both sides by 6.24. Gonna get an approximate measure of how many radians there are in a circle, or what's the degrees of a radian. So radian will equal roughly or approximately, 6.28. Okay, 6.24. Okay, so if I plug this into a calculator, plug it into a calculator, and you get 60 divided by 6.28. You get 57. So you should get roughly, radian is about 57.3 degrees, okay? Now notice, I put degrees for degrees. Radians are not going to have that. So if I talk about radians, they're always going to be in whole number. They're going to be numbers. There's not going to be any additional things to them. Okay, so you need to know the formula. Next, we need to calculate how to convert. Actually, we're going to, okay. coterminal angles. So how do you find coterminal angles? Well, before we do that, this is a beautiful chart that helps us with radians. Okay? In quadrant 1, for radians, we have 0, theta, pi over 2. So we will know that this is angle pi over 2. Over here, we have pi over 2 less than theta less than pi. So we know that this is pi. This is 0. And then this is from pi to 3 pi over 2. This is 3 pi over 2. And then we finally know that this is angles 3 pi over 2 until 2 pi. Because that's the full rotation back, so then that's going to be 2 pi radians. So these are our areas for radians. Now, coterminal angles are going to be understood through the formula theta plus 2n pi, where n is an integer. Okay, where n is an integer. So n could be positive or negative. So let's choose an angle. Good angle to start with. Let's choose pi over 6. So theta equals pi over 6. Now we want to find coterminal. This is our method. So we can either, so let's put n as 1. So let's say n equals 1 for a second. Then we're going to do pi over 6 plus 2 pi. Is that going to equal? Well, we need to work with fractions. So we have pi over 6 plus 12 pi over 6. Okay. Got the same denominator. I can add the top, so we get 13 pi over 6. So this is a coterminal. This is going to be our alpha. Okay, well, what if n was equal to negative 1? So we get pi over 6 minus 2 pi. And we get pi over 6 minus 12 pi over 6 equals 2, negative 11 pi over 6. So this is our beta. Okay, so we have three angles that are all coterminal. Okay, pi over 6, 13 pi over 6, and negative 11 pi over 6. Okay, so that's how you find coterminal. We use 2n pi, where n is any integer. Okay? So, complementary and supplementary. So, complementary, this is just a brief note. Not going to spend too much time on this. So, complementary means that if there's two angles, they add up to be 180, or you could say they add up to be pi. Okay, supplementary, sorry, that's complementary. It's 90 degrees. It's pi over 2. Sorry, supplementary is the one that they add up to be pi. Okay, so we're gonna just finish up with this and then we'll keep going. So supplementary is 180 and is equal to pi. Okay, and that's in radians. Okay, so that's going to be brief. We're going to go into degree measures and radians. Okay, I will see you in the next video. Bye.